How do we get here? I don't understand this. We're getting ready to talk about this woman. Her name is Crystal D. Ford. She is 27 years old. She's old enough. She knows better. We're going to tell you guys what happened. This story is coming out of St. Louis, and this mother of four, count them, 4 children. I want to make sure that everybody hears what I said. 4 children. And you're going to be able to see some of these pictures, these screenshots. Mother of 4 children who were rescued from a dramatic house fire this week. The mother was charged Friday with 4 felony counts of endangering the welfare of a child. How about that? Here's how we get here. Crystal D. Ford, age 27 of the 1300 block of Ohio Avenue, was being held without bond. Good. That's a good thing. Being held without bond at the St. Louis City Justice Center downtown. Jail authorities said that Ford was also held on multiple outstanding warrants for less serious alleged offenses. Wow. So this woman right here, as you guys can see in the middle of the screen, we're going to talk about the biological father here in just a moment, but for right now, we're going to focus on her. I'm going to read that again. She's also being held on multiple outstanding warrants for less serious alleged offenses. I want to make sure that you guys heard that. The fire in her home, a 3-family flat west of Lafayette Park, broke out shortly before 1 p.m. on Thursday and soon captured the attention of the city. So this was actually just yesterday, actually. Her children, all under the age of 4 years old, were home alone. Can we get a Kevin McAllister in the chat? All 4 children are under the age of 4 years old, and these children were left at home by Crystal D. Ford, their mother. 2 of them being baby twins. Let's move on. Officials said emergency responders found 3 of the children in cardiac arrest and revived them, and the children suffered from smoke inhalation. At least 6 fire trucks responded just before 1 p.m. to the 1326 Ohio Avenue, where a fire was burning on the 2nd story, Fire Chief Dennis Jenkinson said. Firefighters did not initially know children were in the home, he said. A preliminary search found the 4 children, all under the age of 4 years old. 1 was in a closet, 2 in a children's play tent, and a 4th near a closed door. The children, including 18-month-old twins, oh, did you guys hear that? Including 18-month-old twins, were home alone, Chief Dennis Jenkinson said. Extended family members identified Ford, and let me make sure and get his face up on the screen so you guys can see who exactly I'm talking about. That's the mother again. That is, get her name one more time, Crystal D. Ford. And the father is identified as, see if I can get his face on here for you guys real quick. Right here, this gentleman that I'm pointing at is Keith J. Witherspoon Jr. I'll repeat that. Keith J. Witherspoon Jr., who is 33 years old, and both of them are identified as the parents by way of extended family members. They said that the couple had a tumultuous relationship and that the family had been reported to the Missouri Department of Social Services about 30 times in recent years. And no, you guys do not have to clean your ears out. You guys heard me correctly. They said that the couple had a tumultuous relationship and that the family had been reported to the Missouri Department of Social Services about 30 times, not 3 times, not 4 times, not 10 times, not even 20 times. 30 times in recent years. I'm at a loss like you guys are. How does that even happen? 30 times. Let's move on because it gets worse. The grandmother or the great-grandmother of the children said, "No action, no one cares," said Ida Ford, who is 82 years old, who is the great-grandmother of the children and a former Fifth Ward Democratic Committee woman in St. Louis. They should have had a thorough investigation. Rebecca Woelfel, spokeswoman for the state agency, declined to comment. Now, according to a probable cause statement filed Friday, the mother, Crystal Ford, admitted to leaving the children in the residence unattended before Thursday's fire broke out. Now, some of you guys might wonder, why did she leave them there? What did she go do that was that important? But I will leave that up to you guys' imagination. As a matter of fact, I'll just throw this narrative out there. Why do most of these type of women, based on the stories that I've been doing, why do most of them leave their children at home alone? Anybody want to take a guess at that? I've done plenty of stories just on my channel alone where most of these women usually end up leaving their children at home to go see another man. Keep in mind that these people had a quote-unquote tumultuous relationship. All right? A tumultuous relationship. And normally whenever you have a tumultuous relationship, it's normally behind fidelity. Thank you, DNA. Just like my brother Tommy said. Shout out to Tommy Sotomayor, by the way. If you guys have not checked out fatherlessamerica.com, you guys might want to do that. That is an awesome movie. Shout out to my brother Tommy Sotomayor. But this again, you're talking about 4 children in this situation, and you guys keep wondering where these criminals and thugs are being bred from. They're being left to be raised on their own. They're being left at home alone. Nobody cares about them, and nobody is really giving them the love and respect that these kids need. This is a very, very common theme in the black community. Now, Crystal Ford admitted to leaving the children in the residence unattended before Thursday's fire broke out. Detective Julie Johnson said in court documents that the children had been alone for an extended period of time. So they didn't specify. Maybe they'll specify in court. Now, Ford and Witherspoon, the mother and the father, returned home Thursday shortly after the children had been pulled from the fire. This makes no sense at all. They came home shortly after the kids were pulled out of the fire, which is right here while they're looking dumbfounded like they don't know what's going on. Okay? And y'all can see the little babies. Y'all see these firefighters. And I want you guys to notice the skin hue, the skin color of the people that are helping keep these children alive, that risk their life to try to take care of these children. Right? Just want you guys to notice that. Okay? Now, Ford, the mother, was charged with 4 counts of first-degree endangering the welfare of a child, creating substantial risk, which is Class B felonies. Okay? She's also being held on multiple warrants, including alleged accumulation of rubbish and garbage in Independence, Missouri. Okay? Shoplifting in Jennings, and stealing in Maplewood. Isn't that something? The father, Witherspoon, couldn't be reached for comment, of course. 2 stores near the apartment he shared with Ford on Ohio Avenues said that he wasn't welcome there. Wow. Damn. He's doing court in the next week for 2 cases. 1 for a misdemeanor, stealing from a Target. Number 2, for a felony possession of a controlled substance. Jeez, man, these kids have got horrible parents. Now, according to court records, he's done stints in jail and prison for resisting arrest, tampering with a motor vehicle, property damage, and possession of a defaced firearm. Hashtag when you date thugs, you date death. Hashtag when you date hoes, you date death. Right? If you guys would, please click that thumbs up, share the stream, let other people know that we're live, okay? Thank you to everybody that's already done that. Appreciate it. Witherspoon hasn't been charged with a crime associated with this particular house fire. She needs a lawyer, said grandmother Ida Ford. She's worried about her having a lawyer. In my opinion, I wouldn't be worried anything about her having a lawyer. I'd be worried about these little babies. I want y'all to look at these photos. Let me scroll through these photos real quick. And I want you guys to see these little helpless babies laying out there on the ground. Let's go ahead. Being carried out by these firefighters who had to work their asses off to be able to get in this building, to be able to get these kids, to perform CPR, to bring them back to life. Look at that. Look at that. And look at that little baby's face. What a precious face. And shout out to those brave firefighters who had to run in there and help these people out to save them from themselves. She and the rest of Ford's extended family were unsure what was going on or what was going to become of the 4 children, but they were thankful that the children survived the fire, right? So let's go ahead and get this fair use going, and I'll go ahead and show you guys the news videos. We have a few of them, which is good that they got some coverage. Let's go. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107.
All 4 kids now being treated at Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital. Fox News' Andy Banker continues our team coverage with how they're doing tonight.
It has been an absolutely remarkable change of fortunes here. When these children first arrived, 3 were listed in critical condition, 1 in serious condition. The fire chief, at last word we got from him, was that all 4 kids were breathing on their own. A hospital spokeswoman told us that workers here were praying for both the kids and the doctors and nurses still working to save their lives. The fire chief says 3 of the kids arrived here suffering from smoke inhalation. 3 were actually in cardiac arrest at the fire scene. Things are far better than perhaps anyone could.
They were in cardiac arrest under the age of 4 years old.
Cardiac arrest at the fire scene. Things are far better than perhaps anyone could have expected.
If you're listening in the chat to Big Timer 24 Gaming, who just donated by way of the PayPal, brother, I really appreciate you taking that challenge on, man. Thank you very much for your donation. I appreciate that. Again, you guys, if you guys are watching, click that thumbs up, man. Don't be scared to share the stream with other people. When you click that thumbs up, it'll share the stream, okay? Thank you, guys.
When firefighters first found the kids in a room that at first glance looked empty, but St. Louis firefighters know you cannot rely on that first glance.
1 was hiding in a closet and 2 were hiding in a tent. And we know that children do that in fires or traumatic situations. They hide. So firefighters went in and instead of just glancing at the room, actually performed a detailed search, which is what we're trained to do, located the 4 children, rescued them, extinguished the fire. Of concern is that the children were all home alone.
The fire chief says at least 1 of these children may be released from this hospital by tonight, but it's unclear to whom. As you've heard, investigators still have a lot of concerns about these children being alone. That's going to be a big part of this investigation.
And keep in mind that they can't give these kids to the father because of the fact that he's a damn criminal himself. Okay, let's move to the next video.
4 young children left alone at home and trapped in a fire. Tonight, all 4 are alive, thanks to some quick work by St. Louis firefighters.
Our Casey Nolan has been on this story since it broke earlier today. He's live now at SSM Cardinal Glennon, where all 4 children are in the hospital tonight.
Mike and Ann, it's easy to see all that was wrong in this story, and investigators are certainly looking into that. But tonight, the neighbors and even the firefighters who were there are trying to focus on the news coming out of this hospital and an unexpected outcome. A mission both dangerous and delicate. Even for the city's bravest, Thursday was tough.
This type of incident hits you real hard.
Just after noon, firefighters pulled up to this apartment building not far from Lafayette Square, knowing only that the second floor was on fire. When they went in, they found 4 children, all 4 years old or younger, home alone trying to hide from the fire.
That was a horrible sight to see.
I want y'all, I'm gonna back this up again, man. Look at this baby's face. I want y'all to tell me if y'all can see this baby's face on the screen. That breaks my heart. Guys, it's Friday night, man. It's an awesome night. It's a beautiful day outside. That breaks my heart right there. Look at this little kid. Looking scared and confused. Like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know who this guy is holding me, but he pulled me out of this fire and saved my life. This picture is so indicative of everything that is going on in the black community right now, is it not? Does anybody want to tell me different? I don't block anybody in this chat at all, man. If you guys want to post your comments, tell me what you guys think. Tell me what you guys think. I see some people posting some things that don't really have anything to do with our show, but it's fine. To my moderators, y'all don't have to do anything, man. Just type what you guys think. Tell me what you guys think about this story. I think that this photo right here is indicative of everything that is wrong with the black community right now. This kid's parents are both criminals, the mother and the father, out stealing, robbing, doing the most, doing way too much. And they have 4 children together, 2 of them being 18-month-old, I'm going to say that again, 18-month-old twins. We put our children in bad positions, and it takes somebody that doesn't look anything like us to come and save us. Right? That's the way it always goes. It's always somebody that doesn't look like us that has to come in and be our savior.
All 4 years old or younger, home alone, trying to hide from the fire.
That was a horrible sight to see because I didn't know whether the children were going to make it or not.
Look at your face, woman. Why do you have that bag on the back of your head like that, like it is a fashion statement? No, no, no. You stop it right now. You look ridiculous. Stop it. Stop it. You take that damn bag off the back of your head. That looks ridiculous. I wish sisters would stop doing that. I'm sorry, but I think it looks ridiculous. And the more and more that I see it, the more and more I get irritated. I've been in Soto Nation long enough that I'm telling you guys, since Tommy brought it up, you cannot unsee it. It looks so weird when you see people that are so unwilling to do anything to groom themselves properly that they want to stick a bag on the back of their freaking head and walk around with it all day, all night. But if your hair wasn't done, ma'am, if your hair wasn't done, then why did you have to get your... Woo, if I could say what I wanted to say right now. If your hair was not done, then I need to start doing like some uncut videos. Would y'all like to see that and hear what I really, really want to say? If your hair was not done, then why take the photo op? Why get on camera? Just don't get on camera. Why do you have to be heard? It is optional, ma'am. It is optional. It is completely optional. Let's move on.
Oh, nice kids, man. You know, babies, little babies.
2 of the children are said to be 18-month-old twins. Firefighters say despite their young age, all of the children were able to get to one room and tried to shut the door behind them to keep the fire out. 2 even crawled into a tent trying to escape the heat from the flames. But when firefighters found them, 3 of the 4 were in cardiac arrest.
When they first came out, they were like limp.
Firefighters did CPR, but when they left for the hospital, they were not sure the children would survive. But by Thursday evening, doctors said while 3 of the children were still critical, all 4 would live, thanks to the bravest who finished their mission.
Pressing life. Almost cost their life, but they still here. But thank God for that.
This is what the firefighters, the EMS members work for, is to see what they do make a difference, and it made a big difference today.
So the obvious questions that remain here: who was supposed to be watching these kids and why were they left alone? St. Louis police are involved in this investigation. We believe the state is too, although they won't officially confirm that for us. As for the fire's cause, investigators have not said what that is yet.
I'm not sure why they won't say what the cause of the fire was. Like, to me, it doesn't really matter whether it were on purpose or whether it was an accident. You do not leave children at home by themselves. I'm telling you guys, man, I have to bite my tongue a lot on this channel, but I'm doing the best that I can to try to keep this channel up and functional. So I see a lot of people, even YouTubers that brag about the fact that, well, I don't never get flagged. I don't never get flagged. And then they turn around and get flagged. So I'm just saying, I think it's very important for us to be on our P's and Q's. I'm just saying. Let's move on. This is the last video.
Breaking images of children being saved from a burning home in St. Louis.
Fox 2's Molly Rose is talking to one of the Post-Dispatch photographers who snapped the images. She has more from Engine House 7 tonight.
Firefighters rushed out of these doors, out of Engine House 7, and went to that burning home just a few blocks away from here. Not far behind them was St. Louis Post-Dispatch photographer Robert Cohen, who captured the moments firefighters rescued those children from the burning home. The pictures are upsetting to look at. Small children being carried from the burning home. St. Louis Post-Dispatch photographer of 20 years, Robert Cohen, saw these images through the lens of his camera and with his own eyes.
When I kind of came around the corner, I heard a couple screams, and so I moved a little bit faster, and that's when I saw the first child just laying on the ground. And at that point, the firefighter had just taken her out and put her on the ground, and he hadn't even started resuscitating her yet.
Cohen, a father himself, relieved to know the children are all breathing on their own tonight.
As news people, as news photographers, we cover a lot that doesn't always have a good outcome.
And even though these images aren't easy to look at, they're an important piece of what happened on Ohio Avenue Thursday.
It's important to show the life-saving efforts that the firefighters are doing.
You guys, tell me that doesn't look like these pictures. And he did a great job with the photos, by the way. So shout out to him. I used to do photography, so I'm telling you, I know a good picture when I see one. Doesn't this look like a scene out of 9/11? We're coming up on 9/11 here actually pretty quick, in less than 30 days. But this looks... Let's see, Jay, didn't plug you, I did. Okay, anyway, but again, this looks like it's like a scene out of 9/11. It looks crazy, like, and to think that they're pulling little babies out because their parents were too coward to actually be good parents. Uh-oh.
It's important to show these pictures because we are understanding the parents were not home at the time, and the youngest child, the oldest child in the house was 4 or 5 years old, and so there's some lessons to be learned by looking at some of these images.
It's not just readers who see these photos printed in the newspaper who feel heartache from the images.
Some of the emotions you have are usually hours later when you're editing or you're finished editing and it's time to go home.
These photos take us to the heart-wrenching scene and leave us to remember.
It's a reminder to hug your kids and pay attention to your kids, and a reminder, I think, to thank the first responders.
This is not a reminder. This is stupidity. No good parents would do anything like this. You don't leave children under the age of 4. I'll give you guys an example. If your kid 13, 14, 15, if you have teens, I could understand. I think that if you're younger than a teen, I don't think you should be left at home. If you're 12 years old, I don't think you should be left at home. Anything younger than 13, I don't think you should be left at home. Parents, let me know what you guys think. That's what I believe. 13 and younger, no. 13 and up, sure. Leave them at home by themselves. At least they can defend themselves, and at least they can speak for themselves. Ooh. Doesn't that sound familiar? They can speak for themselves and defend themselves. 12, 11, 10, and younger, no, they can't. So here's how we're going to wrap this thing up. want you guys to look at these photos once again while I talk about Crystal D. Ford, who was 27 years old, and Keith J. Witherspoon Jr., 33 years old. They're both criminals according to their court records, okay? So I don't have a problem with calling them criminals based on what I found. But again, these two fools right here caused 4 children to be into this world, and these children depended on them for everything that they needed. And their parents failed them. Why? Because their parents were selfish. Well, I'm sorry. Whenever you become a parent, you no longer have the right to be selfish. Where are my real parents out there? Feel me on that. Where are my real people out there? Where are my real law-abiding citizens out there? Do y'all hear your boy on that? Right? Whether you're on the right or the left, you know what I'm saying? Whether you're on the North Coast, South Coast, East Coast, West Coast, whatever country you're in right now, how many of you guys, no matter where you're listening from, believe the fact that once you have children, you now have to be more responsible than ever? You cannot be irresponsible anymore. You can't do it because now someone else's life is in your hands. She was 27 years old. And to put that into perspective, I want you guys to remember that when I had my daughter, I was 24. I was 3 years younger than her and a hell of a lot more responsible than her. My daughter, shout out to my daughter, Crystal Chan, by the way, who I ran to Oklahoma City this morning at 4 o'clock in the morning to make sure that daddy could go surprise her and take her to her first day of school. Right? I did that. But I've been doing that for the past 6 years. Wanted to make sure and surprise her and take her to her first day of school. She's turning out to be an amazing person, but even she'll tell you, like, daddy's always been there. Daddy has always been responsible. Daddy has always provided. From the moment that she was born, I stayed in that hospital with her mama for 3 whole days. We dealt with the crying. We dealt with the trying to feed her and change her and get her all of her shots and the stuff they got to put in the baby's eyes and all of that stuff. Bringing her home and just the care and attention and the love. And I'm gonna tell you guys, it wore me out. How many of my parents out there hear me? Taking care of one child wore me out. It had me tired. It had me sleepy. Sometimes you get frustrated as a parent. That's normal. Because you feel like you feel hopeless sometimes, like you don't know what to do when you want to calm the baby down and you don't know what's wrong with the baby. And sometimes babies just cry. That's just what they do. And keep in mind, at the time, I only had my daughter. I didn't have 3 other kids. These fools had 4. And I had all the help in the world. My daughter's mom, her mom, my dad, cousins, relatives, grandparents, had a whole lot of help. Great-grandparents at the time. I had a ton of help. And keep in mind, you're talking about 1 child compared to 4. And look what you have going on here. Look at that poor baby on the ground. They did not deserve this. These children did not deserve to be in this position. They could not speak for themselves. They could not defend themselves. And they could not get themselves out of this bad situation. But it's funny how the same people, like this firefighter, and people similar looking to him, are always the ones that come in and they are benevolent and they come in and try to save our lives and save us from ourselves. So I want you guys to imagine, how bad could those kind of people be if every time we get ourselves in trouble, they're always the ones to bail us out? They're gonna get me flagged. We're gonna go ahead and wrap it up right there. Feel like I've said all I had to say, but again, I hope they give Crystal D. Ford a lot of time in jail because of the fact that they have her now on 4 Class B felonies, and Keith J. Witherspoon Jr. and this mother should never get another opportunity to be parents, period. I always told you guys, these two, along with others, should never get a second opportunity to kill a child. You guys want to post that in the chat? Parents should never get a second opportunity to kill or hurt or abuse a child. So I hope the judge in St. Louis does the right thing, puts these people in jail for a long time, and to the point to where maybe once she gets out, maybe her body won't physically be able to have kids anymore. But they definitely shouldn't be allowed to be caretakers, babysitters, nothing like that. Nothing else around kids. To me, this is the worst thing that you could do to your kids, is leave them to fend for themselves. And that's just not right, man. Okay? We have to start being more responsible. When you see something, just make sure and say something. Report it to CPS. But apparently, CPS failed these kids because they were called 30 times. 30 different times. Y'all remember me saying that? Missouri Department of Social Services was called about 30 times, and they were reported 30 different times in recent years. So what else are the people supposed to do? They saw something, they said something. In turn, these children almost lost their lives. So hopefully they can be in the hands of better caretakers and move on with their lives and grow up to be productive citizens, but it damn sure wasn't going to happen in their parents' hands, okay? This is your boy DJ Just Jay. I'm signing out. This turned out to be a happy story because all 4 of the children lived, and, you know, we'll move on from this. And like I say, maybe if we do another update, if we find out some type of revelation, other than that, we'll move on and we'll call this one case closed. Give them a lot of time. Don't ever let them see the children again. That's my take. This is your boy DJ Just Jay. As you guys can see from this shirt, we're the AFC. We advocate for children first.